Okay, so we're starting a new topic here. We're going to start trigonometry, and the first thing that we want to be able to do when it comes to trigonometry is learn how to label the side lengths in triangles. So the learning intention for today's lesson is to develop an understanding of trigonometry and what that's all about. And then we also want to be able to label the sides of a triangle, that should say, of a triangle, okay? And then the success criteria is I understand the terms opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, specifically in maths, because I'm sure you've heard these words before, but like, what do they mean in this context? And then I can label the sides of a triangle according to the required angle. Okay, so when it comes to trigonometry, trigonometry is to do with angles, okay? So trigonometry . So here I've got a right angle triangle, and I might be told that this is the angle that we're interested in. This is the required angle, the important angle, however you want to explain it. And then that determines how we label these three sides. So the three words that we use to describe sides in trigonometry include now, the hypotenuse is unchanging. That is always the longest side and the side opposite the right angle. So the longest side and the side opposite the right angle in this scenario is this one. This is our hypotenuse. Now, adjacent, the word adjacent, that means next to. Okay, and the word opposite is pretty explanatory. It just means opposite, or across from is another way that you can think about it. So these two are dependent on which angle we're talking about. So if we're talking about this angle, we've got one side here and we've got one side over here. So this side is obviously closer, so we would say that that is adjacent because it is next to that angle. This one, obviously this line is much longer, so that would mean that this side is our opposite. So today, that's all we're going to focus on. I'm just going to have two more examples where we're just labeling the different sides according to where the angle is. Okay, so this is our second example, and in this example, this is the angle that we're going to be talking about, okay? So remembering the three words we need is the hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent, okay? So hypotenuse is the longest side and it's opposite the right angle. So I find my right angle, I turn it into an arrow, I know that this is going to be my hypotenuse, okay? That's my longest side, okay? Now, I've got a side that is here, and I've got a side that is here. These are the ones that are left. So this one is obviously next to it. So this is going to be our adjacent. And this side is further away, so that's going to be our opposite. All right, we're just going to do our last example here. So you might be given triangle like this, okay? And you might be told that this is the angle that we want. Okay, so again, we've got hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. The easiest one to do, well, the one that you should do first is your hypotenuse. So I turn this into an arrow, and that's going to point to my hypotenuse. Then I need to think about, I've got a side that's close and a side that's far. Got a side that's close and a side that's far. So the side that is close is going to be my adjacent, and the side that's far is going to be my opposite. So if we think back to today's learning intention, it was to learn a little bit about trigonometry. So we quickly, very briefly talked about the purposes of trigonometry to find unknown side lengths and angles. And then the second thing we did was to be able to label the sides according to the terms opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So if you know what those words mean and you can label them accordingly, then you've met today's success criteria.